Trinidad and Tobago. Today is Budget Day 2025-2026 in Trinidad and Tobago. I just want to remind you all that former Minister of Finance, Clongenbert, told Trinidad and Tobago that this government has no money to run the country. I want you to understand that. Clongenbert said this present government, the UNC government, has no money to run Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine that. Look what came out from a basket that has no money. Trinidad and Tobago, today we heard the budget, and I am definitely sure that every citizen in this country is quite happy. Whether you are UNC, whether you are PNM, whether you belong to any other party in Trinidad and Tobago, tonight I am definitely sure that you are quite comfortable. The UNC had a manifesto for the 2025 general election, which they presented to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and today they have fulfilled a promise made, a promise delivered. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, things would not happen overnight. I want you all to understand that. There are some measures that took place with immediate effect, as early as from tomorrow. There are some, not all. But in the coming months, I am sure Trinidad and Tobago will start seeing a change. Like, for instance, gas with immediate effect. So, let's go into the night news. Feel free to call in, viewers, 238-6716. Remember, make it short, make it sweet, because I know we are going to get a lot of calls tonight. So the government commitment to delivering on its election promise is reflected in the apparent theme of its 2025-2026 national budget presentation. Promise made, promise delivered. Finance Minister David Jonathan repeated that phrases after every major announcement made in the presentation and received desk trumping approval by his government colleague. Tanku said the budget is anchored by 5 strategic pillars designed to deliver tangible and sustainable outcome for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Listen to this.
This budget is underpinned by clarity of purpose and anchored by 5 strategic pillars, each a critical dimension of national development, designed to deliver tangible and sustainable outcomes for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. These 5 are: 1. The first pillar is restoring confidence and fiscal stability. The second pillar is unlocking productive investments and jobs. The third pillar is commercializing and optimizing public assets. The fourth pillar is modernizing infrastructure, transport, and digital services. And the fifth pillar is protecting the people through social investments and safety nets.
So Trinidad and Tobago, 5 pillars. Now, the minister stated that the previous administration left the country in economic ruins and difficulties. Tanku called out the UNC accomplishment and the accomplished campaign promise, saying that all the promises that were made were kept. He added that in 150 days, land releases over 200 carrying workers were delivered and landmark energy deals obtained. Hear this now.
In our first 6 months, We move swiftly with tangible actions, real achievements, and measurable impacts that have already begun changing lives. We developed justice to former colony workers. While the former administration for a decade, this government in just 150 days delivered land leases to more than 200 former colony 1975 villages. Promise made, promise kept. We secured landmark energy deals. We signed a historic agreement with ExxonMobil, which has the potential to strengthen Trinidad and Tobago's energy security. On the 8th of October 2025, we obtained the Office of Foreign Assets Control, the OFAC license, from the United States Treasury Department to pursue development of gas on the Dragon Field.
So Trinidad and Tobago, Tanku said, in 150 days, a new commissioner was appointed and a 40% reduction in crime was accomplished. The minister then went in depth in his budget presentation where he announced fiscal measures. So Trinidad and Tobago. Finance Minister David Tanku has announced a $1 reduction in the price of super gasoline effective immediately. Immediately. So Trinidad and Tobago, I would say this. Ember used to say, I raised the gas once and they did not riot. I raised the gas twice and they did not riot. If I raise it a third time, they may not riot. But the finance minister of the UNC government, that is governing Trinidad and Tobago presently, they did not raise the gas price, my friends. They dropped the gas price. So congratulations to the UNC administration for doing such a good thing for Trinidad and Tobago. Now, delivering the 2026 budget in Parliament today, Tanku said, an average tank of gas of 50 liters, drivers will save about $50 each time they fill their tank. Now, the move marks the first major measures of what he described as a caring government led by Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bisasa.
I wish to announce that in our bid to build economic fairness, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa has instructed that effective immediately, the price of super gasoline at the gas station pump will be reduced by $1 per liter.
The policy for the approach of the previous government, the finance minister saying, the former government raised fuel price with glee while citizens face rising cost of living.
Let me remind you that the then minister gloated and sneered that because citizens had not rioted yet, he could raise the price of gas again. And he did. Again and again and again, Mr. Speaker. While citizens suffered in pain and frustration as the cost of living skyrocketed.
Now, viewers, Tanku also reported that while overall economic activity contracted by 2.1% in nearly 2025 due to global and institutional challenges, growth has begun to return in its non-energy sector.
This downturn was due to the declines in both energy at 4.8% and non-energy at 1%. The energy sector's lackluster performance reflects continued declines in natural gas exploration and extraction, testifying to the previous government's mediocre efforts in stimulating this critical sector.
So viewers, the government plans to bring an end to what it calls the state funding for criminal gangs by phasing out CPEP and URP and introducing a new framework for sustainable full-time employment. Devendranath Thakur made the announcement as he presented the 2026 National Budget in Parliament today, saying the move formed part of an administration broader job creation strategy to fund the transition. Thakur revealed that an employment fund has been created within the Ministry of Finance.
To this end, I have established an employment fund in the Ministry of Finance with $475 million, which will be utilized with the $310 million in the unemployment fund for job creation.
So is that a budget for the people? I am asking you. The finance minister has accused the former administration of criminal negligence at Caribbean Airline Limited. I saw one of their CEO, I believe, recently resigned. I don't know if he resigned because he will have to give an account, or he resigned because he find it was the correct thing to do. I don't know, but people had to start to give an account now, whether you resign or not. And this is why, when you hear a company can't give an account, the management team, the CEOs, the big boys, they start resigning. So I believe what the government should put in place now is that for big companies who fail to give account, and you know what? The manager decide to resign and run away from giving account. I feel the government should put something in place now that will bring them back and find out why they were delinquent in giving accountability and still punish them. Because you was there, not because you left. You can't give account. You are the only one knowing what happened. And because of you, who are delinquent, a company crashed. And because the fact that you resign now, nobody take give account. Something must be done about that. Trust me, something must be done about that. Now, the finance minister, Thakur, has accused the former administration for the negligence at Caribbean Airline, CAL, after revealing that the carrier spent more than $60 million on audit, but failed to produce any audited financial statement for nearly a decade. The big boy resigned. So who is going to give account now? Somebody has to give account for that. Hence the reason why I said what I said. Even though you resign, you feel like get away. That's why I said the government needs to put something in place that even though you resign, you have to come back and give an account because that was your portfolio at once. Delivering the 2025 national budget in Parliament, Thakur said, CAL hired international firm to conduct audits, yet no statement was ever submitted to the Ministry of Finance. Ooh, listen to this.
CAL's management spent more than $60 million on audits from Ernst & Young and PricewaterhouseCoopers, but still failed to submit a single audited financial statement to the Ministry of Finance for over 9 years.
So now viewers, news to you, $60 million taxpayers' dollar was spent, and we don't know how much CAL was making per year for the last decade. Imagine that, eh? Imagine that, and we okay with that. We okay with that. You paying taxes, they spending your money without giving accountability to you. Where your taxpayers went. Where the money went. Now you understand what caused the bacchanal with the Auditor General Office and the Finance Ministry under Cloggenbert. It's popping up, and I will inform you. Trust me. Thakur also accused the former finance minister of repeatedly approving additional financing for CAL in 2017, 2018, and 2019. And recently, as March 2025, despite the airline's ongoing lack of transparency. So now you understand where your taxpayers' dollars was going. So when you start to complain about the road and you complain about you can't get water, it's because where the money going? The money was funding a failed project. And everybody was okay with that. You see, when they get up in the morning and the hole in front of your house fill, you're comfortable and nice. But when you drive out from your garage and you hit that hole and you bend a rim, who you cussing? You could cuss the breeze. And they're doing nothing for you because you had to dig deeper in your pocket. Listen to this.
The former Minister of Finance closed his eyes as Carl descended into inefficiency, non-compliance, and fiscal indiscipline, leaving behind not a national airline, but a national liability. Worse yet, he actively fueled this reckless behavior by repeatedly approving billions in financing without demanding accountability.
So is that what we are about in Trinidad and Tobago? Lack of our accountability? Lack of accountability ensures that we don't know what's going on, if we're making or not. But we okay now, but we car hitting a pothole. And then you go call this outside, you're blasting PNM. No wonder why we at a stage where cost of living is so high. Because we funded failed projects over and over and over. When they could have closed down a failed project and used that money elsewhere. But as again I go say, not everybody could manage. Not everybody had common sense. So I wonder what Clong and Bert now is saying. He's probably wondering, so where they get this money from? Nevertheless, where there's a will, there's a way. Always remember that. The new board has since been appointed to address long-standing governance and financial issues at CAL. There are plans to modernize oversight system by replacing outdated framework with modern governance standard that will ensure international best practice in corporate governance, accountability, and transparency, while delivering value for taxpayers' money. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. What does this mean for me? It means there's a board that have been appointed where they have to answer to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. There's a board that is appointed with best practice. There's a board that is appointed that transparency will take place. And we, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, will know exactly how much CAL is worth, how much they are making, and if it is feasible to have them there. Imagine that, Look how nice and easy it is. And for 9 years, who was funding CAL? Input. Taxpayer.
We'll be right back. Throws you a curveball, and you need a clear path forward. Trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Welcome back.
So welcome back to Real Talk viewers, where you get the real news, the real facts, and the real strategies. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night, Saieed. You know, this is a budget with class. You know, your presented budget. It looks like an election budget for the first budget. You know, when people do things who know what to do, it is so simple. Everybody, every sector gets something with such ease and with such small deficits. Secondly, you know, I want to know this PNM government, are they the agent for Venezuela and Maduro, sir? Anything, you know, that this government tried to do, you know, Raul is talking, is not what America wants, not is what China, is what Venezuela. Are they the agent? You have to go through Raul, you know, to get this kind of thing. You know, and then you had Raul and Imba talking about being patriotic. Are they being patriotic? And I heard a comment from the opposition leader saying that how this budget is fake and fraudulent. If they cannot, what about Vishnu Dan, Paul Imba talking about $10, $15 deficit? If they cannot do it, just move aside. You know, the talk of patriotic. Are they patriotic, sir? You know, it's time that the right-thinking people must stand up and support this government. We are on the right track. It's only sad after how much years if the UNC build back this economy again. You know, it is always customary. If the PM come again, they mash up everything again.
Correct. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. So, Trinidad and Tobago, Finance Minister Devendra Tanko has announced a 10% salary increase for public servants, making a major step in the government's plan to settle long outstanding wages negotiation. Clongenberg, where the money come from? I want to ask Clongenberg, and I forgot this next minister name. Oh God, I forgot his name. He worked in the Ministry of Finance too. He said, you cannot move money. I remember that man? I'll give a lay name just now. Delivering the measures during his 2025-2026 budget presentation, Minister Tanku said, public officers has endured years of negligence under the former administration. Listen to this.
For far too long, our public officers, the backbone of our nation's workforce, have been made to carry the weight of the former government's neglect and indifference. This government is taking this bold and historic step to restore justice, dignity, and respect to the hard-working men and women of the public service.
So now, viewers, you don't have to worry about Marvin Gonzalez and, you know, one time for the month you're carrying out your family, while Marvin Gonzalez got a 40% increase on his salary and might have to carry out his children now, not 4 times, but maybe 8 times for the month. Because why? They got 40% increase. How much you get? How much? 4%? And they say take it or leave it? I wonder how the PNM people feel or felt when Marvin told them that. Take it or leave it. How did they feel when the finance minister said to them, all they're getting is 4%? How will you feel? Sad, it? Caller, good night.
A very, very good evening to you, Mr. Said.
To you, my friend.
So the single thing that I am most happy about in the budget is where reckless drivers, once caught, will have to pay a $15,000 penalty.
Believe 5 and 15. I believe 5,000 for drunk driving and 15,000 for reckless, I believe.
Very good. Because hundreds of thousands of people is on the roadways every day.
Correct.
And there is the crazy errant ones who dangerous, cutting, driving on the shoulder, doing madness on the road that is putting the law-abiding citizens' life at risk. And most of the time, the one who do the wrong thing, he just gets away with a bruise and somebody get killed.
True.
But I wish somebody in authority could hear this and try this out, because once the police is not looking, they would do the madness. In England, in Cheshire County, they have this experiment going on. It's working very successful. where that if you pick up somebody is driving very reckless on the roadway in your dash cam, you take it to the police, to the local police, and with that evidence, they will prosecute. So people will be batting in the crease all the time. All the best. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you, my friend. And just to top off that, reckless driving and drunk driving, they have increased the price of alcohol. So it works hand in hand, Trinidad and Tobago. It was well planned. It worked hand in hand. Now, to continue. The revised wages offer covers the 2024 to 2016 and 2017 to 2019 negotiation periods. Tanku said the Prime Minister instructed the Chief Personnel Officer to formally submit the new proposal to the Public Servants Association. He also confirmed that collective agreements signed in 2025 of April for the teaching service, the Defense Force, and the Port of Spain and San Fernando City Corporation will be ratified. Trinidad and Tobago, listen to this now.
The recurrent cost of implementing these agreements is estimated at $214 million annually, with arrears of $730 million as of December 2025.
So viewers, he also mentioned that a request for proposal will soon be issued to let retirees and their families remain on the Unimed Group Health Plan, addressing gaps in retirees' healthcare coverage. Trinidad and Tobago, hear this now. The retirees are all benefiting from this budget, you know. The retirees. David Tanku also has accused the former PNM administration of overseeing what he described as a feeding frenzy for enormous proportions, erroneous proportions, citing widespread corruption, inflated contracts, and reckless public spending.
Mr. Speaker, this is confirmed by the last report of the procurement regulator, which stated that $5 billion in contracts were illegally awarded by ministries in one financial year. Contracts were awarded without tendering, without key performance indicators, and with no form of monitoring for value for money.
Imagine that, and we was okay without giving accountability. No wonder why there were no money for the police, no money for health, no money for security, no money for schools, no money for fire hydrants, no money to fix road. Imagine that. Because everybody wants to eat our food. Everybody eating and nobody ain't fixing. It's sad. But nevertheless, Minister Tanku detailed a series of alleged financial abuse across multi-sector. Among them, he revealed that Queen's Hall had been renting a tent at the cost of now $30,000 per month since 2023, totaling roughly $720,000 over a 2-year. Listen to this.
The 3-year contract would have cost $2 million thus far and would surpass $3 million when it expires for 110. $3 million in rent for a $30,000 tent.
Tanku also took aim at pharmaceutical suppliers, accusing them of accusing them of price gouging and pointing to massive cost overruns and major infrastructure projects.
The Churchill Roosevelt Highway extension has cost overruns of over $250 million on a $400 million original contract. We are being price gouged by suppliers for medicines, medical supplies, and medical services to the tune of almost $500 million a year.
Now, Trinidad and Tobago, according to the minister, the findings underscores the urgent need to tighten fiscal controls, greater accountability and transparency in public spending.
The population of Trinidad and Tobago was robbed of billions of dollars that could have been spent on medicine, crime fighting equipment for the police, school supplies and school grants for the vulnerable, infrastructure works to prevent flooding, and much, much more. Over the last 9 years at this rate, $45 billion was lost to PNM-sponsored and facilitated theft. No one was held accountable, Mr. Speaker.
So now Trinidad and Tobago, let me hope from now on, going forward, accountability will take place. Now, Tobago has received an allocation of $3.72 billion from Central Bank, or the central government, to manage its affairs for fiscal 2026. Finance Minister Devendranath Thakur made the announcement during the budget presentation in the House of Representatives.
I have taken note of the budget proposed by the Tobago House of Assembly and their national agenda. In that vein, I am proud and happy to announce that in this fiscal year, I have been directed by my Prime Minister to allocate $2.96 billion to the Tobago House of Assembly, which represents a full 5% of the national budget.
So Trinidad and Tobago now has received from the budget, and let me tell you something, with that fiscal, that amount for 2026, let's hope that they put it to proper use, Trinidad and Tobago. So moving along tonight now, the opposition, the PNM, the People's National Movement, walked out last Friday in Parliament sitting, marked a sharp escalation in months of tension with House Speaker Mr. Jagdev Singh. Look at this.
You can run, but you cannot hide. You can run, but you cannot hide, Mr. Speaker, as the members of the opposition exit the Parliament, once more abdicating their duty to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Speaker.
Viewers, you all remember our former House. Let me tell you something. For the last few years, always putting down any questions that were asked in the Parliament from the UNC to the PNM. All remember that? All remember that? Come now, man. PNM people don't feel like all remember it. Remember during the COVID, every question that the UNC raised while they were in opposition to the PNM, remember the House Speaker was brixing all the question? Now they're getting back at taste. They get up and walk out. No, it don't work so. Who in the kitchen is feel the heat? Now they are in the opposition. Now the heat is turned on. You walk out. You know, when the UNC did that once, I believe they said the UNC neglected the country. So what are they doing presently now? What are they doing Trinidad and Tobago? Did they just neglect the country by walking out? You know, we wouldn't remember those things. But nevertheless, I'm here to remind all you. Now, the protests following Singh's repeated overruling of opposition members during debate on the appointment of Deputy Commissioner of Police Junior Benjamin as acting commissioner. The PNM accused the Speaker of bias and restricting their ability to scrutinize government action, a complaint that has surfaced repeatedly since Singh took office. Listen to this.
There is inference of political persecution from members opposite when they point at
Mr. Speaker, 48 sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. It's your nonsense.
Remember when both parties were sitting on the opposite bench? Who used to break for the PNM? What's her name? What George they call her? And I remember that? I find that question irrelevant. I cannot allow that question. Members, you are not asking according to this. And members, I will not. And I remember that? Come try and Tobago, do so and like so. Do so and like so. Let me tell you something. No other shows are bringing it like this, you know. I am reminding you what took place years back. Now that the PNM is on the opposition, the ULC is turning up the heat. The House Speaker is standing up. Do so and like so. Do so and like so at all. Now, the strains date back to September 19th and has continued since Singh has repeatedly cited Standing Order 26, 27, and 28, and a Privy Council President insisting he could not assume powers not explicitly granted. He later admitted to having no prior parliamentarian experience and urged the Standing Order Committee to clarify the rules. Opposition MPs argued that the ruling is being obscured to shield the government from scrutiny. Here who talking about shield the government? Here who talking about shield the government? All of a sudden their brains got amnesia. That is why I am here to remind you. I'm here to remind you that when Mrs. George was labeling them, question irrelevant. I cannot allow you to answer that. That is not very Standing Order. And I remember that, but I will remind you if you don't remember it. Now, Speaker controversy is not new to Trinidad and Tobago Parliament, as both the UNC and PNM have at various times accused past speakers of biasness. Listen to this.
And I'm not in a conversation with you. I am ruling here now.
Chair, I apologize.
I have not asked you to speak. Please continue, Minister.
By yourself.
Member for Caroni Central. Member for Caroni Central. Please, Member for Caroni Central, please take your seat.
Why are we muting the leader of the opposition microphone?
I here to remind all you. I here to remind all you, Trinidad and Tobago. So all the opposition, who's the PNM administration, let me tell you something. Train back your memory to a few years back. You see how this train you watch? Well, reverse the training. Reverse the training and you're going to remember. What did I tell MP? Want to play big boy? He's a lawyer, you want to play big boy? Tongue tied like Alexander one. Hey, Trinidad and Tobago, the parliament nice, you know. The parliament nice. Remember when Marvin Gonzalez said Alexander had to learn to talk? I wonder what he's saying about this minister now. Hey, run back that video one more time.
And I'm not in a conversation with you. I am ruling here now.
Chair, I apologize.
I have not asked you to speak. Please continue, Minister.
By yourself.
Member for Caroni Central. Member for Caroni Central. Please, Member for Caroni Central, please take your seat.
Why are we muting the leader of the opposition microphone?
You can run, but you cannot hide. You can run, but you cannot hide, Mr. Speaker, as the members of the opposition exit the parliament, once more abdicating their duty to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Speaker.
There is inference of political persecution from members opposite when they point at
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker,
48-6, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Trinidad and Tobago, like I said, I'm here to remind you. I I am not here to label you. I am here to rejuvenate your memories. I love my job, I love my job. But nevertheless, nevertheless, we're moving along now. The budget was read today, you all listened it, right? There was a number of changes that benefited the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, but we deal with the issues that are at hand. We have the whole week to deal with the budget. Yes, you will see it on our pages, but we here live on television, we're dealing with the issues tonight now. We're going to deal with the budget the next day, tomorrow. Senior Counsel Larry Lala has joined the growing calls for PNM and asked the Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar to remove Housing Minister David Lee from cabinet following Lee's rearrest last week on fraud-related charges. Larry warned that following a charge minister to remain in office sets a new worrying and dangerous standard for governance and the Trinidad and Tobago. Like this man forget how much ministers were under charges in the PNM while they were still sitting in office. Larry needs to turn back the screws and find out. That's what he needs to do. Listen to this.
I think it sets an unfortunate precedent in our country. It sets the bar too low for our country. I think persons who hold public office on trust for the people should be above and beyond reproach. And this precedent that is being set by the Prime Minister Lee, by the UNC government is very, very unfortunate.
So Trinidad and Tobago, I want to ask Larry, how much PNM MPs had to face in the courts while under investigations and still remain as minister? Let Larry Lala give all of the list now. I won't call it out. Let Larry give all of the list. Lee was recharged. Now this matter was dismissed, It was dismissed. You understand? We have an officer who bongs on a trial. Was promoted. Why Larry said something about that? They might investigate him for saying that. Oh, but then again, he on the PNM side. See? Do so I like so again. Do so and like so again. The matter was thrown out, it was dismissed. DPP now went and pulled back our case, review it, and then relay charges. But I won't do that with the officer who bungs on the trial, Say something, Larry. Say something. Despite mounting pressures, Lee has refused to resign and kept his front bench seat in Parliament up to last Friday Parliament sitting. But the Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar has said Lee will remain in office. I want to let her remember something, Trinidad and Tobago. The matter was dismissed. He was freed of all charges. So there is no use or no reason for him to resign. Because if he resigns, let me tell you something. Kamala should call on all the opposition that were being investigated and order now the DPP to reopen back cases. I wonder how the opposition go feel. Or let's say something that man Trinidad and Tobago. Or let's say something that man. What about the woman who carried the 140-something to court? I mean, to a bank. And documents reveal that the money didn't come from the bank. She said that she took it out in. Oh God, it had proof circulating. Why Larry had to about those things? You see, do so and like so. I ain't here to cover for nobody, I'm here to tell all the truth. And that's the difference with me. That's what I tell them. When you want to come outside, I have no problem, but know how you're coming, because if you lie on me, so help my God, a spirit will slap you down. Take what I'm telling you. It will slap you down, and I will come right here on national television and tell all you, I will do it. Remember Terrence Dialsi when he got in the accident? I didn't hesitate. I came and said what I did what I did. I did what I did, and after that he never said it loudmouth man on TV again. He never took his God out of his thought to say something like that again. I just leave examples, you know. I just leave examples. So that's why I just come here and I just tell them, one door them I'm breaking down is no door that belongs to the Real Talk group of company managed by Saieed Ali. Me. They go break down everybody else's door. And haven't? Hey. They're breaking down everybody else's door. Come and touch it glass door that belongs to Real Talk group and you go see something. You go see something. Now Trinidad and Tobago. Former Prime Minister and the Energy Minister Stuart Young claimed Prime Minister Kamala Prasad business continue to erode TNT reputation after 6 months in office. Stuart Young saying this, Stuart Young. Let me tell her something. I asked Joe if she had the video. Navin, I asked Joe if she had the video with Stuart Young saying he knew Venezuela was a sanctioned country. Trinidad, I have it. Stuart Young wants to tell Prime Minister Kamala Prasad that they continue to erode Trinidad and Tobago. They continue to erode the reputation after 6 months in office. But Stuart Young have to say that we damn lucky we didn't get sanctioned. And oil companies and companies that are doing business in Trinidad and Tobago had to leave. Hey. He had to say, thank God we ain't get sanctioned. Stuart, he won't come out and tell you that. But I have him on a clip saying he traveled to Venezuela many times, knowing that they were under sanction. He admitted. It's sad, It's sad. I tell you, I just bring the facts to all here, you know. I just bring the facts to all here. So, Trinidad and Tobago. Story 10. Now, here it is, Public utility. Oh, the budget. My mistake, Trinidad and Tobago. The budget debate will resume on Friday, 17th October 2025 at 10 a.m. But to recap today's budget, to recap it, Trinidad and Tobago. Education and training receive $8.766 billion. Health in Trinidad and Tobago, $8.214 billion. National security in Trinidad and Tobago receives $6.366 billion. Now, viewers, remember I always said to you countless times that health, education, and security is the three main things in our country. Three main things in our country. And the three main things in our country. Let me tell you something. Tonight, publicly, I want to thank Kamala Prasad Business Administration for taking it serious. Now you can get a proper education. Now you can get a proper health sector. Now we get a proper security. You know why? You know why? Look on your television. Look on your television. Health, education, and national security. The three main factors in any country. They got the most. They paid attention to it. And I want to thank David Jonathan, the Minister of Finance. The Minister of Finance for Trinidad and Tobago for taking into consideration the three main sectors in our country. Now, Trinidad and Tobago, public utilities, $3.395 billion. Infrastructure, $1.943 billion. Rural development and local government, $1.807 billion. Transport, $1.840 billion. Agriculture, $1.130 billion. Housing, well, they got the lowest. $0.662 billion. Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something. Hopefully we can see some growth now in this sector. What I really want to see grow in this country is the agriculture sector. Because having a bill, let's say somewhere around $22 billion, I believe, or $20 billion, it is costing for import food. Let's hope, Trinidad and Tobago, that the agriculture sector in our country now will boom. We're still waiting for yam and eddos. We're still waiting for it from Ghana. We're still waiting. I'll eat yam by chance. That was the fiscal amount for the main sectors in Trinidad and Tobago. Now, 25 fiscal measures, budget 2026. Asset levy on banks and insurance companies. 0.25% levy on total asset. Expected revenue, Trinidad and Tobago, is $575 million annually. Landlord business surcharge. Mandatory registration with BIR, a one-time fee, $2,500. Electricity surcharge. Now, so you're finding out now, Trinidad and Tobago, what you're burning and what you're paying for. So it's 0.5 per kilowatt on commercial industrial use. Exemption, schools, hospitals, street lighting. The revenue is $269 million, Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. A caring government will do that. Not somebody who's telling you, wean off the government and tighten your belt. Wean off the government and tighten your belt. While contracts going now without proper and legal documentation, but you always have to win off the government and you always have to tighten your belt and clung your boot every year raising gas price. Was that the government for you? Because now, you the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, let me tell you something, now it's a boil down to no party, because when you're facing the grocery, the party not helping you. It's your labor, when they collect your salary versus the grocery. How did you all felt? I directed this to the PNM people. According to Gatsby Dolly, is the PNM church in his school that we have to help with the bullying. So how did you all feel now when Marvin Gonzalez told you carry out your children one time for the month? While you begging for 4%, he get 40%. How did you feel as a PNM supporter who voted for Marvin, and in return, that's what Marvin had here, not on a silver, but on a gold platter? How you felt? Like I said, I am not for UNC, I am not for PNM, I am an independent person in Trinidad and Tobago. I support my own program, and I am here to fight for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. I am here to hold them responsible for their high office. That is why I am here. You see, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. They are ministers. They have access to the treasury. I don't. The only thing I have access to is my money. But I pay taxes. I pay taxes, my company pay taxes, my workers pay taxes. So I am here now to hold those responsible for where our tax money is being spent on. If the tax money is spent on road, how come we have proper road? Contractors doing highways in Trinidad and Tobago. Let me tell you something. Right Barbados, no, we ain't going quite Barbados. Right Tobago have better roads than Trinidad. Right Tobago. We're going down the highway and we swear we're in the ocean. I swear on my boat in the ocean. And I pay taxes. Imagine that, Imagine that. And the former minister of Works and Transport, he have no problem getting a bad name, He have no problem. Why am I saying he have no problem? Because he represents Works and Transport. He represents the road fixes in our country. And if the citizens could say we rode like 40 years ago, After the billions spent, who you think get the bad name? Who you think gets the bad name? Minister of Works and Transport. How does you feel now when the travels are away now and somebody tell you, but hey, all your people complain about bad road and use the minister and you proud about that? No, it sucks. It sucks. But say what? Say what, Trinidad and Tobago? Higher exercise duty on alcohol. Duty is double on rum, beer, cigarette. Revenue is $1 billion. Custom duty on luxury electric vehicles. Duty free only for SUVs under 400,000 CIF. Above 400,000, 10% duty plus 12.5% VAT. The revenue is $40 million. Tax on single-use plastic. 5% tax on CIF value at importation. Real estate investment trust. Trinidad and Tobago, there's a lot in the coming days that we are going to unfold for you. We have the complete breakdown of everything. The complete breakdown. As the days go by, we are going to share it with you right here on Real Talk. The complete breakdown. But tonight I just want to thank the Minister of Finance for thinking about the people. And I'll tell you this, 2010 to 2015, Kamala Prasad Bisesa was fixing Trinidad and Tobago. From 2015 to 2025, what did the PNM administration do with everything? So we hope that, as the caller said, when the UNC fix back Trinidad and Tobago, let's just hope we as a citizens don't vote back a party that they will have to give all you, they might reduce all 10%. They might come and hit only 2% that time. So how do you all feel now that, yes, public servants now get a 10% increase? How do you all felt? Rather than 4% and 3% and all, they had to ram it down all through by force. How you all felt? Felt baddened? Yeah, it's sad. At least I will know now that the pothole in front of my house going to fix. What we need to do now is start holding. I have something to ask all you, but I need time to explain to all you. So with time too short, hopefully Tuesday night I'm going to explain it to you all. Hopefully, but that's enough for that. So Trinidad and Tobago, those of you know that Real Talk, we outside. Real Talk, the management for the Real Talk yacht, they have a competition that is about to start, viewers, right? So this is not my thing, this is the management team for the yacht. They came up with the idea for the females and them. If you think you look good in a bikini, right? You think you look good in a bikini, let me tell you something. You could be a rewardee of $10,000, right? It is a competition. You're paying $350 to enter the competition, right? You go down the island, we'll take your photos, and the best female with the best bikini, you can get $10,000. $10,000 could be yours. So Trinidad and Tobago, we have come to the end of our program tonight, but nevertheless, we run 12:30 p.m. tomorrow, 11:30 to 12:30 p.m. We'll be right back here another night for another live. Until then, good night.